Mario, I think we're good.
Yeah, we are good.
I'm good, you're good?
Yeah, good. Yes? Yes, I'm on a Jack Doxie podcast, yes. On YouTube. Yeah, go. Give the love, give the thumb. Yes, correct. Jack Doxie.
Subscribe.
I said this for the end. That's what that was.
You're the man, Mario.
Okay, that was a good one.
You're the man. We could have kept talking for the next hour before I pressed
I'm ready. Like, I was just like...
We've been here for half an hour.
I did. See, that's the conversations we should have, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, I think the podcasting, it is something very unique because we can discuss things. But yeah, thank you, Jack.
Yeah. And to be honest, my favorite part about podcasting is just the talking aspect of getting to know someone. So whether we turn it on or not, like, I would have still had a great day if we just talked the whole time.
I want to be in your dreams here. Okay, you started?
We've started.
Okay,
the episode's already going.
Okay.
For anyone who hasn't seen the first time that Mario came onto the podcast, the link is in the description. The first time you came on, I got to hear your whole story. Not your whole story, but definitely an amazing part of it, which led me to read the books that you've given me as well. Yeah. It's like a autobiography of things through the war, and I'll fill everyone in, but if you want to go watch it, links down the bottom with you growing up in Croatia. Yes. All right, the war broke out. You were about 19. That was 18 years old when the war broke out. Family went on their own paths.
Yeah. My alpha father, he says to me, hasta la vista. Look, for many years I hold this against him, against my family. But, you know, eventually I forgive. You can't forget things. But when I was 18 years old, you know, the first love, man, you know, oh my God, first sex, bro, just everything.
Unbelievable.
Everything is lining up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then suddenly war. And I always say to people, be careful what you wish for, because at that stage I was watching the Rambo movies. And I said, my God, I'd like to be like a Rambo, like machine gun. And guess what? War broke out, I got my machine gun.
Yeah, well, you manifested that, didn't you? yeah.
Terrible idea, mate.
Everyone can thank Mario for that. Well, I think it was a phenomenal story of not just like, you know, a crazy situation that I can't imagine myself being in, because I've never lived it. I can only imagine it through the words you told me, but then the overcoming it, the fighting through the war, the brotherhood, the crew you had while doing so, and then secret intelligence came next before, you know, the trips overseas. So running a personal investigation company that you've got with how many staff are working
400 plus.
400 plus.
400 plus now. But look, it's, you know, when you look at the life from my distance now, from my perspective, I'm 53. I didn't know that my life is going to look like today as it is. You never know what's going to happen in the future. Like we have no control over 99% of the things in our life. We can't even control our breathing. One thing I learned on Intelligence Academy, I remember this lady when she walks in and she said, you die 20,000 times per day. We were like, huh? What do you mean 20,000? You see? She says, you know that expression, the last breath? And it's like, yeah. She said, we inhale 20,000 times per day, average. But we never know it's going to be last exhale, you know what I mean? Because brain maybe say, I don't want to breathe anymore. You can't control this. So when I went in a war, I went in a war because I have nothing else to lean on. You know, tragedy is that you're 18 years old and my father was the alpha male. That's why I always love these alpha males. He was the breadwinner, you know, patriarchal society, me. And war broke out, he was the biggest coward. But I went in a war because I wanted to die, because I was in love with a woman I couldn't be with because she's a Serbian.
Yeah.
And I tend to become the hero, because I want to die. I couldn't live anymore. And then as the life unfolds ahead of you, my grandfather was always telling me, I don't want you to go in intelligence. And I said, why not? Because he was the working communist Yugoslavia high position intelligence officer. And guess what? Be careful what you wish for. Because I was recruited in 96, 98 I got acceptance in foreign affairs. It was called Directorate 7, and it was fancy name, Directorate 7.
Directorate. I don't even know how I could say it.
Yeah, know, it's fancy word, French Directorate. I mean, it just, but
Directorate is a great word.
Yeah, like a Sector 7 in a Transformers.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was just thinking Sector 7 doesn't exist. Never heard of it.
My son picked up that thing. He says to me, Daddy, Sector 7. I say, what is? I say, oh God. Yeah.
It's so
that stage was called Directorate 7, and eventually I was after 10 years in military, I was now in suit, James Bond, no cocktails, no chicks, still nothing. That's so good in the movies.
No helicopters, no pass cards like that.
And then my boss says to me, I want you to go in Australia. So like, what do you mean Australia? That's end of the world. He said, no, New Zealand is a further. And I said, like, Captain Jack Sparrow, did you see the ship? It goes down. Like, why Australia? Like, he said, we need your profile there. Instead of going into depth of that job description, I was sent in a Canberra first, and I said to my boss back in Croatia, so like after 2 months, if he don't get me out of here, I'm coming back, because I can't be in Canberra. It's just the kangaroos and skippies and, like. And
it's a deserted island, isn't it?
Just a boring place. And he says to me, how do we do compromise? I said, what is it? He said, we send you in Sydney. You're from Sydney. I said, okay. And I fall in love in Sydney.
Wow. And how long were you in Canberra for?
2 months.
2 months, that's it. I get it though, believe me. I lived down in Canberra.
And 5 years in Sydney, and I was working in Croatian embassy in Sydney, and I fall in love with, first thing I saw, how people don't know how lucky they are being born in this country. Far away from everything. Everything is working together. People complaining, waiting 15 minutes to see GP. 15 minutes, bro. Going Croatia. It's like hours, you know what I mean? And you need to pay the money, on the table to see the doctor specialist. So,
well, this has actually been a lot of what I wanted to talk to you about today. The difference in comparison was going to be a big subject of what it was like to, and how old were you when you moved to, let's just call it Sydney, not Canberra. How old were you when you moved?
27.
27, so my age today.
Yeah,
I'm 27 now.
27.
So then, what were some of the biggest notices and differences did you find going? Because did you go straight from Croatia to Canberra then Sydney, or was there anywhere in between?
I never flew that far away. I never been. So, what people need to understand, when I was sent for my job,
Can we talk about what it was without?
Yeah, sure.
Are you allowed to talk about what it was
thing,
being in the Croatian? What do you call it? Forensic.
No, it's like intelligence services.
Yes, there was another word for the, like, let's just say the Croatian part in Australia that you worked for, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are they requiring you to do? Like, I understand, like, it's so like foreign. I have no idea.
Yeah, look, as I said, like all my life I was in military, so I didn't know nothing else except to be the soldier, officer, right? I have 5 years combat in Croatian war. I have some other wars as well, but that was the major one. So I didn't know nothing than to be the soldier. Somehow every war has a beginning, has the end, right? And I smell it that this is, every war is going to come to the end sooner or later. So I need to acquire something, to keep me occupied. When you're in the military, you have the purpose, you have the mission all the time. You have the commandership, you have the friends, true friends. 96 war finished, and somehow I was already working in security intelligence services in military, and I wanted more. I wanted more, and somehow I was that day with a friend of mine, Robert. I can say his name. We went for the coffee in the coffee shop. You could smoke that, bro, like, what I mean.
And this was in Croatia?
Yeah, and then somehow this, like in the movies, that person comes in, most beautiful woman I ever saw that stage. Blonde, nice shaped body.
I can imagine.
Man, like there's no silicones there, but it was like she was looking, man, I was like fishnet stockings.
Yeah.
And imagine she's approaching me and she says to me, yeah, my father passed away in January. That was like sometimes in May or June, spring, late spring. And she says, you're Mario. It's like, do you know who you're talking to? Because I was like, you know who I am,
Yeah, no, it's good energy.
Approach me that way.
Yeah.
And then I saw that, sorry for Mike. So there I saw the couple guys there with her, like men in black. And I said, this is not good. And my colleague Robert on the table, like, grab the guns and shooting, because you don't know who these people they are. Maybe foreign intelligence, enemy,
Yeah.
organized crime. And she gave me envelope. She says Monday, 8 o'clock. And I said, like, you're giving me envelope.
Yeah.
Do you know who I am? It's like, and she says, I know who you are. And Bob's your uncle. So I was on train from my city to the capital city. It takes 6 hours for 250 kilometers. 6 hours
Wow.
for 250 kilometers by train.
That's not the fastest train, is it?
That's the fastest.
It is. 250 kilometers.
That's
how
an
far? That
overnight
would
train.
be from.
And and in the morning I was there, and there was like I would say 200 men. Everybody in his suit, smells nice. And there's Mario Bekes in Levi's jacket, white t-shirt, gunning behind the back. Remember that movie, Men in Black, first one, where the Will Smith comes, everybody's in uniforms, and then he's like dressed like me right now?
Yeah.
That was me. I said, what the fuck I'm doing here, man? You know what I mean? And then you walk into that big amphitheater, and the people are changing the behind the lectern. If you join to us, I still don't know who I'm joining in, I mean. But it's all bad things coming. I say, it can't be that bad, you can't do this, you can't do that. And eventually it's up to 20 candidates. Yeah, choose 4 of us for 2 years. So 2 years was a silence. So I couldn't tell nobody my job. I was made at stage in Croatia as well. I couldn't tell nobody that I'm going to process to be hired to foreign intelligence services, which they told us it doesn't exist. I said, like, well, you hire us. Well, it doesn't exist. I said, okay. After a certain period of time, we gone. So 98, I was dismissed, honorably discharged from military on 30th of May, 98. But I was still classified working military. It's everything is just rolling, covering up lies and everything else, and you accept this because it's a part of your job description.
And how was that? How did you find the holding the secrecy thing? Was it a difficult thing not to be able to tell people in your life, like, oh, this is what I'm doing? Or did you find it, or was it the whole world that you were in, like, yeah, I like this. I like the secrecy of how I'm maneuvering.
It's some written rule there, I mean, when you join this type of job. Is there 2 ways you're going to end up in this service. Retired or with a feet front. That's mean. I saw many people disappeared. Many people, I never saw their faces because they talk too much. So this is how they test you. I mean, everything is a test. Every single day is a test. You never know when I talk to somebody, is they testing me for something or not. Because the moment you sit on a plane, like me coming to Australia, and you have diplomatic passport, you never know who is waiting for me here, for what and when. Particularly women. Women is always the issue when you work in those services. So you never talk to women, you know who I am, there's no these things.
Yeah. I bet that would be the hardest part for a lot of people to keep that secret, I guess.
You don't date, you don't do things because
easier, isn't it?
Because the setup, I mean, and I saw we have many cases of some of our members of the agencies, and they'll go overseas and then disappear, right? Because they talk too much or fall in love with wrong woman. But I was the loyal instrument. I was the tip of the spear, edge of the knife. You know what I mean? There's no for me. I was loyal to my country from day number 1 to the last day. You know what I mean? And I knew that whatever I do, I'm doing for the national security, safety, to defend my country. So the moment I was on a plane, my boss says to me, from this very moment, you're accountable for everything. Anything goes wrong, we don't know you. Goodbye. That was it. So we're talking 98. I didn't know what the internet is. There was nothing. So my job, I'll say this, was performing the risk assessments, internal controls of the people in embassy, consulates, regular liaison between me and government agencies in Australia in terms of sharing informations, helping, assisting, and guiding Olympic committees There was a lot of threats there. So it was Olympic Games 2000. So I was a part of that one. It was a big thing, a lot of sportsmen come and everything else. And Croatia was on a big intersection. First president died, who is very radical. And then comes the communist, socialist type president, right? It was just two differences. Boof, you know what I mean? So they were going to destroy everything what was before. But yes, so like that's the part of my job. And of course, you're working on assisting your government in preventing infiltration into Croatian society, unwanted elements.
Of course.
So basically, that was I tried to find the proper wording instead of like, I mean.
I can imagine it's a bit.
So
there's so much you can say.
So it's all about human intelligence. So there's aspects of where you liaise with the Australian government. You're working for your government. You're protecting your society, your country from external enemies, internal enemies. It was a lot of actually people falling for the money, and they will sell everything and anything to you and anybody else. So you need to verify, you need to quantify. It's a lot of. I never knew, let's just say when I was coming my home, the sticky tape. Sticky tape is my best friend. So I put the sticky tape on a door down the bottom when I leave my house. And I'll come home and see the sticky tape is not there, it's been opened. So who's in my unit?
Well, I
So that was my job, So like, this is something I can share with this. And, I didn't sleep very well. One eye was always open. And all I needed was to have some coins and memorize the phone number in case I need to something. So if there was a phone, public phone, and then Bob's the uncle.
That is such a different way of living than I can even possibly interpret, because I can imagine to go through the war in the first place, always on the lookout, always on your, not just looking after yourself, looking after others as well, people looking after you, because it's literally life or death, realistically.
Yes.
So then going to a mindset of a bit more corporate attire and lifestyle, but still the same mindset, looking over your shoulder, making sure it's like not sneaking around, but seeing who else might be sneaking around at all times. I don't even lock my car. I don't lock my house. I can't imagine living like that. Like it sounds insane, but it sounds so normal at the same time, especially if that was your job. So then, but I can't imagine you today as this person that's always on the lookout and like.
I am still today. I
can't see it. Look at you, you're bright, you're colourful, you're joyful, you smile, you're so. It's like it really is fascinating. And then when did you ever lose a bit more of the paranoia with the sticky tape or things like that? Did that ever go away? No. Never.
See, the thing is, I was always fascinated with the people who love to talk. Australian people love to talk. The Australian society just love to talk, impress, and blah, 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 blah. When people will ask me what I was doing, I said I was working in foreign intelligence, Croatian embassy in Canberra. That's it, boom. What did you done there? I said a little bit less than I just shared with you. That's it. Do you know why? I have a fucking child. You see, you never talk about your past. Me, I done this, when I was doing this. It's nobody business. Something is going to die with me. When I signed how to call this? It was a A4 size paper, which was more or less blank. And you can't talk about this next 25 years, 50 years, forever, basically. And there's a reason why you don't do these things. So when you think about, I was in Australia on diplomatic passport. The Australian government is smart, they're clever. They know this guy is not here to open the mail. When people ask what doing in embassy, start making coffees.
Yeah.
Really? I say, yeah. You know what I mean? But then I sit with my ambassador, and my ambassador will shake his undies in front of me because I said to him, I know what you're doing. And bro, this is your end. 2 of them that'll be sent home. And because they have the big mouth. So even today, like when I walk and it's like, see these things, you never become less interesting, because you're aging. But some things becoming less important for some other agencies. But I never understood, like on LinkedIn today, I'm reading, I was the CIA, I was the FBI, bro. No, with me now.
Well, one thing that I found very, very interesting, right, is this world of secrecism that I never became aware of until we had that first conversation with you and your line of field with PI, investigations where people hide you, whether they be companies or individuals, to find out anything. They could be, you were telling me, it could be like government fraud, insurance fraud, it could be, and mostly infidelity, people cheating on their partners and stuff, right? And when we got a coffee one time over at Rouse Hill, I said, how much does it really happen? Like, how many people need, hire people to see if their partner's cheating? And you said there's 4 cases happening right now, and 2 of them are in this shopping centre.
That's correct, yes.
And I said, what?
50% of the Bunnings today is a surveillance. And it's like, it's just, people, let me just go back this one. What I like it about you, Jake, particularly your podcast, you ask right question. You ask valid questions. Every time when I listen to podcasts, 2 things I stop listening. First one is when the man starts talking about, my mom didn't love me, my dad was a this, my life was blah, 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 crime a river. Who cares, bro? You know what I mean? But that's it's what I learned. When I was in one of the trainings, which I can't stipulate, I can't disclose fully where it was, but I do remember we marched for 40 kilometers, something, right? We come 4 o'clock in the morning, was a lunch waiting for us, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I hold the tray, and you get a cup of coffee. And I took the coffee a little bit. I say it's warm. It's not hot, 40 kilometers, bro. You think it's easy to walk?
You had to carry this tray 40 kilometers? Or
No. We come for the lunch. So 4 o'clock in the morning, we finally hit the barracks.
Yeah.
After walking like a 20 hours, right?
Yeah, it's a full marathon and a half.
Yeah, like it just with all this backpack and everything else, and looks like sexy, but it's not, Anyway,
yeah.
So 4 o'clock in the morning, we got our lunch, and we were, we're in the kitchen, and I was complaining that coffee is not hot enough. Drill instructor heard. So, mind you, everybody's standing in front of their tray. They wasn't sitting and eating till the last person doesn't come, and then he says, eat now. And then you have 60 seconds to eat.
Wow.
And I complain about coffee. He took the, what's it called, the spoon, dig into that pot. I was holding tray. He poured the coffee on my wrist. I dropped the tray. He says, no lunch for nobody. 4 o'clock in the morning, after 20 hours of work, because I dropped the tray. And then he told us about pain, how to manage pain, everything else. Now, when we're talking about in relation to I like your podcasting, because you're asking the right questions. And when the man start talking about his past, he's still in pain. He's talking about past. Who cares? Or second thing it is, look at me, how successful I am. Look at how much money I create. Those 2 things you never talk. Your past is nobody's business. You can discuss the general stuff. And what do you do, how much money you make, particularly how much money you make, who's your clients, you don't talk about those things. Then I know it's a bullshit.
Yeah, I do find that whenever the term's name dropping, I work with this guy, I know this guy, me and this guy went out for lunch today, like name dropping and talk. It's showboaty, it's gloating, it's not an attractive look. It really isn't. We've all witnessed that firsthand and seen someone do it.
That's what I appreciate about your podcasting. And as I say, every time when I go somewhere and listen to people, I want to know who they truly they are, right? You know what I mean? And after all, I'm the human like you. I'm made of ego, alter ego, emotions, fears and tribulations and trials, whatever you want to call them. We all have the jobs, daily job. I never planned to be what I am. It just, I was a product of the circumstances. And I was hungry for more. I wanted to be something special. I want to prove everybody that I can do better. Working intelligence comes with a terrible price, because you're living the lie and nobody can understand this. You see, even today I need to be
cautious.
what I'm saying things out. Now I can say that most of the things was like this and this and this and this and that, you know what I mean? But most of the things about cases, I can't talk because the people still alive.
But it's so drawing as a listener, you know, like it's the mystery part is like, I need to know more, you know, like, and I'm not asking you to share anything you can't share.
You can ask anything.
It is a great trait. Like it's actually a great characteristic because it's the polar opposite of the thing we were just discussing that we don't like. We don't like the people that show off and talk about too much. So of course the polar opposite is the person that won't give us what we want, you know.
But that's it. How to say? Sometimes I wish I choose a different path. I wish, but then the good portion of me says like, okay, that happened to me. That's my life. What I can do best from this, and that is to pass my knowledge, my life experience, and hence why I started my business investigations. Because would I like to be my business owner? Man, I wasn't thinking I'm capable to do this, because I'm in foreign country, Australia. English is not my first language. You know, I don't know nothing, nobody. When you walk in all these different meetings, everybody's expert in everything. It's like, God, man, can I do this? But again, the life gives you something. The very sour pill to swallow for me was the GFC. I lost my job, my marriage. My son was diagnosed with epilepsy. We start living in a car, and then we fall apart totally. And the only thing I could do it, and I just want to work. I was 38 years old. I just want to work, man. Just wanted my family back. I wanted this. Plus my son was become diagnosed with epilepsy. So like the life, I said to myself, God. And then start clicking to me, all that my life previously, the price needs to be paid. Make sense?
I was just having this conversation at breakfast this morning.
Yes, please.
Like I was just having this conversation saying that I told a story. I don't even remember what story I told, but I was up to no good. Whatever story I told, it was a time when I was definitely up to some hood rat shit, just being a little menace. Anyway, I remember I said it out loud. I was like, well, I paid for that. Like, you know, that karma came around and got me. And the person I was sitting with breakfast, we said, I feel the same way. I feel like I did a lot of stupid things in the past. And then when I was in moments of shit, I thought, well, I made my own bed here. You know, this is kind of what I get for it. But I feel like once you do it and then you feel like you've tried to learn from your mistakes and you feel like you've accepted consequences for wrong decisions, then it's like a fresh start. It's like the blank piece of paper again. Then it's like, oh, okay, opportunities. But then all the things that you did, good or bad, they present themselves with brand new opportunities. Like you had this world of investigation and understanding and secrecism and you know, that's the perfect career to go into. Like, let's find people who are holding secrets, you know, let's do that.
Look, I think that I believe this. I'd say in Australia, it's much more easier to get information than anything else. Like when I was in other countries, particularly in countries where I'm the Caucasian, and you know, you're standing out, it's like very hard to do some things because everybody's eyes on you. Right? Yeah. They look same like you're different. You know? Yeah. People, they don't know how to hold the secrets, and this is the problem. Why the most of people have their problems in life? Because they're sharing and oversharing, and they're validating, and they again try to seek more confirmations for their decisions. Think about this. When you go on TikTok, every single video you see on TikTok, and person he's talking about, you know, you're never gonna. I was watching this morning. You never know who is your friend till this and that. You don't talk about your friends, talk about you. It's your disappointment. So every time I see some video, somebody asking, you know, or give you a tip, it's actually asking for their help. Mm-hmm. Internet doesn't forgets and doesn't forgive. You can delete, but everything stays on the internet. It's called the archive.org website, right? Everything's there. So doesn't matter what you asking or seeking, there's always going to be some person like me who's going to say like, I don't care why you saying this. I want to see what do you saying. When I know what do you saying, I know what you want to from these ones. And that's the secrets I want to get there. So, when you go dating, it's going attraction, you see something, bro, it's so...
Absolutely.
Then, I want to see her again, seduction, look at my blood.
Yeah.
I drive the Porsche, the blue. Yeah. And then comes destruction. Because in a nutshell, it's no natural process anymore. After you go to the initial celebration of love and ecstasy and excitement, it goes to that either love or hate relationship. That's same with the people.
Is the truth starts to come and gets revealed.
So you sit on a train and then engage in conversation with somebody next to you and gives you all rundown about his boss.
When during your line of field and during your career, whether it be fresh started or even up to wherever you are today with the business and whatever your roles are, how many people do you find are holding on to secrets? Is everyone holding on to secrets, or are most people pretty open? How do you feel about, especially in Australia?
Those who try to keep the secrets, they're most easy to discover. I'll give example. I know somebody who doesn't have social media, who doesn't have this, doesn't have that, doesn't this. And I said to myself, that's the biggest bullshit in the planet.
Yeah, it's very, that's sus, isn't it? Yeah.
Because you don't search person by name on the internet. You search person on the internet by email. If you know all email addresses of somebody, you're going to find them sooner or later. So I will say 9 of 10 people don't keep the secrets. No, they don't.
9 of 10 don't is very high. That's very reassuring. That's a nice number to know. So just 1 in 10 people walking around is like, I hope no one finds what I'm doing out.
Because, and those people, I have the goosebumps. I have a goosebumps of these ones. Or, when something's too good to be true, and bro, like, when somebody says to you, like, what are you doing for a living? I'm just doing some this and that. It's like, bro, I'm just run away. It's too good to be true.
What about the idea, because I remember we spoke a lot about infidelity in our last episode and people cheating, and I found it very interesting to find that like 50% of all cases that pretty much come through that world are because of that. I always thought personal investigating would be like, I need someone to help me find the person who stole this, or this person's like, I think they might be stalking me, like that kind of world. But if my partner is cheating on me or not, being the main focus in that kind of world, that blew my mind. So it led me to be curious about your answer to, did you ever feel off-put by the idea of getting into a relationship, or whether my partner's ever going to cheat on me, or being in the world of infidelity, surrounding yourself with all these stories and cases, did it ever infect your mind to make you a bit more paranoid?
Not really, because, from early age in my life, I was always going to be either replaced by the better guy or being cheated. I'll give you an example. I was in a relationship with one lady, I was in Croatia, and she comes home, she says to me, my gynecologist gave me the antibiotics for you. I said, for me? What the fuck is do with me?
How did I cop this?
I find out very quickly that actually I have the, something what she gave it to me, she had, because he gave it to her. Happened to me a few times. So like, you are with somebody in the bed, right? I think that intimacy should never be broken, because it doesn't matter what you think or you do, it's 50 shades of grey, or you fucking whatever you want to do in your life. That element should never be breached, because your adventure can harm somebody else who's with you in bed. It's done to me a few times. I was naive, I was stupid, whatever you want to call this. Being cheated, man, bro, being called the names, like I was always in my life being that guy where the mothers told that their daughters do not go with Mari because he's a little petty theft, criminal, and he's just a soldier, he's just a military guy, he's just a spy. You never been good enough. And I was like, okay. But no, I can't say this. I mean, like, can't put me off because we are all product of our own decisions. You know what I mean? So whatever I decide to do, I'm the product of that. People come to me with the pain. They're suspecting something. So I will say like 8 of 10 I can deal with them. 2 cases I can't take it because they seeking type of investigation that I can't perform. You know what I mean? They need a psychiatrist, not me. But the moment you're suspicious of somebody cheating on you, run. If you're suspicious about something cheating, don't come to me. I'm gonna charge you for your misery. I know you need it to confirm this. You need a closure. Some people need it for the court. Some need it for the family matters. You know what I mean? These things. So it's a variety. But infidelity itself, bro, I don't know. The most of these infidelity cases doesn't happen in some beautiful resort in Fiji. It happened on a back seat of the car in a fucking park, man. Like I'm feeling myself, this is what you come to, like, you know what I mean? Okay, if that's what you do, our boys and girls record everything. But there comes the most painful part, presenting. And that's what tears me apart.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be a very unfortunate part of the job, having to deliver the thing they actually asked you to deliver for in the first place. And it made sense when you said, if you're having the suspicion, run, because it's not as much as having the suspicion, but if you're already at the point to come to you, they probably already know. They probably just don't have the time because, let's just say, made up hypothetical situation, maybe say if it's the guy doing it, the guy chooses to sneak out when the girl has the responsibility of looking after the kids, or when she's doing work late, or it could be vice versa. If the guy's working late, then the girl's sneaking out. So usually the person that knows what they're doing, but they don't have the time.
Women know what to do, men don't.
They're a bit more stupid. I agree. We are. But that's why they would come, because like they have these suspicions, but they just probably don't have the time. It's not the resources, because they could probably just follow them themselves.
They don't know how. They don't know how.
They don't know how. Yeah. But to be honest, I feel like people are going to be sneaking around in the first place, and it'd be very hard to find the time to do so. But to run makes sense. It does make sense. But the cool part about it is that you remain your trust. You still have your trust in people. The 1 in 10 hasn't affected the 9. Like you still are optimistic, even though you've been through it. I've been there before as well.
I bet you did.
It's not the best feeling. Like,
you tell me, how did you feel when you've been betrayed? Doesn't matter, love, business. So you tell me now, how did you feel?
My first time, okay, to relate it to the subject, betrayal wasn't the first time I felt betrayal. I had a girlfriend once leave me for an older, richer guy kind of thing, and that, to be honest, it kind of felt normal. Like, it didn't feel a shock. It felt like a mathematical probability. Like, I kind of felt like, okay,
yeah.
I was young, I was maybe 17, 18 or something, and I remember being in the moment and thinking, like, I'm an adult now. Like, I'm not just competing with all the lads in my class. I'm competing with everyone that's ever gone up to the age of 45 now, Like, and I thought, okay, to be honest, it was actually a good lesson for me to lock in harder. It was a good, like, okay, let's just not ever be that guy that someone would want to leave for someone more richer, more successful, more fitter, whatever that feeling might be. I was like, okay, game on, Like, I got this. This is mine. The first time I've ever felt betrayed was a different kind of situation. I had a girl once I had a guy sleep with a missus that I just ended the relationship with. One of my close friends ended up sleeping with her real quick. And that was a feeling of betrayal. But then a friend said to me at the time, when I was like trying to calm myself down from the situation, I was like, hey, don't react to it. Like, like if you do anything, she wins. Don't let her have that. Like, let's just deal with this. And he said, if you think this is the first time you're ever going to be betrayed, you're insane. So just learn about what it is and you'll be fine moving forward. And then I felt betrayed by that person a long time later, and I was okay. Like, he prepped me for his own betrayal. Like, it was a whole different scenario. It had nothing to do with cheating or anything like that. But then when that came around, I thought to myself, like, I was ready for this. Like, I'm not that upset by it. Like, I almost, hope for the best, but expect the worst. Absolutely.
That's a good saying. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and to be honest, I think I know why you still have that trust in in people, because it would be so hard for the average everyday person to surround themselves with, let's just call them people playing the pokies and not getting a pokie addiction. You are a product of the 5 people we spend the most time with. And you said it before, it's like you didn't plan your life. You are a product of your environment in a way, you know? Yes. Like we are who we surround ourselves with. And if we surround ourselves with people cheating, not trusting, people worried, people this and that, then I think the reason why it didn't is because you still have the number one thing that we all need to have, and that's faith. You still have trust. You still have hope, belief, you know? So I'm curious, like how long have you had faith in your life? The idea of a higher power or whatever you want that understanding to be, because I know that you do believe. Like we've discussed that before.
Look, I just want to touch based on this what you say, average. You see, one thing what I learned, and I ignore that fact. Now I appreciate much more. I never choose people by salary, by job description, whatever they are. I truly, it's by their generosity and kindness over their time, because time is the most precious commodity in life, right? And if somebody gives you time to hear you, talks to you, you know, it's going to be there for you. Usually it comes to this average Joe. I call this for male and female, right? I saw in the military. And this is the best example. Like my father, who was all his life playing, you know, rough and tough guys, you know what I mean, all this bullshit, you know what I mean, and his buddies, they all run away. Difference it is my father left me. His buddies took his kids away with them. So in life, I always realized one thing. The most loudest mouth will not be on your side. The most strongest person around you, they'll not be there for you. It's usually going to be average people around you. You know, normal people, trust. I call them average Joe, right? As I saw in the war, because when I start sharing the bullets, you know what I mean, and shellings and fear and all these horror things, when I look at people around me, they're average people who turn to someone like done the switch for the light, you know, because people don't understand about military one thing. Military employs the people who are most capable to be most genuine, kind people, but on a switch goes on, they're going to use the most violent, brutal methods to defend their country. Make sense?
Of course.
Now, in a life, you know, like when you talk about betrayals and anything else, I believe that the people are generally good. I think they're being misled by, let's just say, social media now. The values are being moved. Everybody chase. Recently, I had a surgery. I didn't plan, you know, because my doctor says to me, look, I've been wounded a few times, so I have some sharpness inside. He said, look, these things are, you know, for 30 years, this metal bearing balls inside of you, like causing a lot of, what's it called? They are oxidizing inside, so they create a lot of inflammations, and you need to remove them, right? A couple of them. I said, oh, come on. He said, like, come on, man, we need to just, we're going to do straight away colonoscopy, we're going to do this. I fuck, man, bro. I was like, fuck. Just like to take these couple of metals, you know, because it caused me some infections, and they know they're inside of me. So I was in the hospital. Long story short, I'm in recovery ward with the people who are on recovery ward before I entered the surgery. And I asked a nurse, it's a male nurse, I said to him, Bruce Lee, some Asian guy, I said, Bruce Lee, you know, talk to him. First I was hungry, just want to eat something. Right? Yeah. I was so hungry, man. I said to him, listen, Bruce Lee, he was laughing. I said, like, why these people are still here? He says, we can't discharge them because it's a duty of care of the hospital. Somebody needs to be with them to take them out. I said, but they were here last couple of hours. He says to me, correct. Friday afternoon, one barista, one lawyer, one influencer, she was doing her boobs job. So it's a quite hierarchy profile people. Their partners, they're not there for them. So it's not that surgery happened now, like, you know, playing this morning. So I try to say, like, people are moving the values. They are less important people in their life than more important people on social media, right? So I believe that human society itself is a good, and they will come together when they're on brink of collapse. I will say, if there comes to the war, people come together. Natural disaster come together. In the meantime, people are going to leave their
I have 100% noticed that personally. I remember I went to Lismore remember when Lismore flooded? Maybe it was
I just want to say it's a flood.
2019, maybe even.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a little bit after that, but yeah, it might have been like 2021 or 2. But I remember I went there like something like 9 months after. I went to go visit a mate up in Byron Bay, I think, and then we went for a bit of a drive and had our morning over there.
Yeah.
And it was a very, very community-based town, more than I've ever seen. Like I've been to some very family-friendly places, you know.
Yeah.
But everyone was just so kind, and it was this person was cooking for the community, and this person was giving out the free this, and this person was giving out the free that, and I thought, well, this is great. No wonder you love it here so much. And I realized it was like, they have to be like that. Like there was a flood that came through and wiped out everything, you know, and all they had was each other's support. There was no more me against the world. There was no more me and my journey. What am I going to do today? I'm going to wake up. I'm going to go get my coffee. I'm going to get my breakfast. I'm going to do the podcast in my area. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's like, what are we going to do today, you know? And I think tragedy does actually bring people together. As soon as life becomes more free and fun and open for opportunity, yes, I wouldn't trade it for the world. We lose our community, you know. We fully do.
Look, it's like, you know, then we talk about this, you know, infidelity. Infidelity doesn't happen overnight. You know, I'll tell you an example what happened to me. So I was with this woman, and we have the lunch, and comes the guy out of the blue and sits with us. So like, I think was this guy normal? You know what I mean? Like I think maybe Candy camera or something. You know what I mean, some prank. He said, "I love her." I said, "Who do you love?" You know what I mean? Her. And her head is down. So I realized they know each other, but she didn't want to tell me that she bangs me, this guy.
And who knows?
And anyway, so like, you know, in a split second, I was on top of this guy. I was bashing him, literally just destroying him.
Yeah.
Police come out of nowhere. I'm pulling my badge, my gun in. I mean, I'm embarrassing myself. And I said to him, "What she done to me with you, you little fucker." He's not fucker. It was bigger guy than me.
Yeah.
I said, "She's going to do it to you with somebody else." No, I love her, you know. What story is it's happened again. So I think that past needs to live in the past because that's caused the pain. Playing the future caused the pain as well because we put unrealistic goals ahead of us. And to be happy with ourselves and our relationship, we need to think about now. If somebody not meant to be with us, it doesn't need to be with us. I know it's painful. I'm 53. My father, before he passed away a few months, you know, I was never in a good relationship with him in the first place, but he says to me, "Can you drive me?" I said, like, "What, in my car?" You know, he never contributed nothing in my life, right? Anyway, I drove him in his village and stop here, stop there, stop there, stop there, stop. At the one house, he says, "Stop here." I said, "Okay, what the fuck he wants?" There's a lady using that old type of the broom from the branches and sweeping in front of the house. And my father standing on a fence like this, like a little kid, and their eyes met. She started crying, my father started crying. That was it. He sat in a car, he said, "Now I can die." Mind you, he's married to my mother. And he said, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean? He says to me, "She was my love, but I had no money to buy her to be with me." That was those days in fucking 50s. Bro.
That's crazy.
And my father, a few days later, is gone into the delirium. He died, right? My mom could never understand this. And I told her, she says, like, no, he loved me. So like, bro, all his life was he was the one. She was the one. Doesn't matter what's happened in life, you know what I mean? So like, infidelity, if it's happened, you need to have a closure, go away. If you come to me, we'll find you. Bunnings, branches, trees, bushes, fucking, you know, like, there was called metro stations. That's where they meet.
Man, it's such a shame. It is such a shame. At the same time, I have this quote written down on my mirror. There's a bunch of different quotes I've written down over the last few weeks. I used it to try and, I was feeling like pissed one day. I was just like frustrated about shit. I was like, what can I do to make myself feel better? So I just bang quotes. And now it's the maddest. I wake up every day, I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. You know, it's actually a great way to start the day. So I'd recommend it to anyone who feels like they want to try and make their day even better from the moment they wake up. But one of them says, why would I care if I've lost it if it was never mine to begin with? You know, we don't actually come with anything, you know. We start this world with nothing. We're going to leave and not take nothing with us. Everything is just fortunately coming our way, you know. We can't hold too much value to much, even people. We have to just appreciate them while they're there. But if someone chooses to go and do what they got to do, like, you kind of just have to be like, you do you, you know.
You know what? I really appreciate you, Jake. You know, maturity of your thinking, it's truly impressive for me, right? You know what I mean? Because people don't think about those things. I say this from my experience again. I buried my father. It's going to be in January, 30 years. He passed away. And my mom, almost 20 years or something. And I do remember right now, like, burying my father, burying my mom. All what they take with them was just the clothes. And maybe a few small items we just put there, right? And I said to myself, this is a life. This is literally, you know what I mean, this is the life. And you said this very well, you know what I mean, if it's not yours meant to be, like, you know what I mean, why would you hold on this? But that's what the human desperation is.
Well, it's because we're survivalistic. I think it's because we are these survivalistic species. We have it in our biology to want to try and make us sure we're safe, you know. And then once we learn after enough time, okay, I'm safe, no one can come take my stuff. We're tribal, you know. People want to take our shit. Then next thing you know, we are having children, and we want to make sure no one comes near our children. So anything we can get, we hold on to it as much as we can. Because I think we once lived in a world before we had the blessings of having things like police and law and order. I want that, you know what I mean? I'm going to go get that, you know?
See, what you said, like, this is what I said to my son, you know what I mean? I mean, I love, he's a dickhead, you know what I mean? But I love fucking my boy. Like, he's everything to me, right? You know what I mean?
Do you know I went to school with your boy?
Did you?
Yep.
Really?
I realised that not too long ago. Actually, no, I realised that a long time ago.
What's it called? Riverstone?
Norwest.
Yeah, Norwest Story, yeah. Real? Oh
Yeah.
my God, this is,
That's crazy,
God.
eh?
It is, actually, see?
He was in a few grades below me.
Yes.
A few grades below me. But yeah, I don't even remember how I realised that, but it was since the last time we seen each other.
Could be. See, that school changed him because he was first in a Glenwood Holy Cross.
Glenwood Holy Cross, okay.
Yeah, it was 70 kids in one room, one class. And I said, teacher, how do you know how he performed? He's an idiot, this and that. What teacher didn't notice? He was having start having epileptic seizures, right? And you know, I said to Mateo's mom, you know, I mean, then I said, like, look, something's wrong, you know what I mean? Because I've saying things to him and he doesn't remember. So how can forget since yesterday? And that was the moment when we realized that everything is happening to him because of the external elements of the life, you know what I mean? GFC, the marriage was going down. We lost the home. Everything was just becoming terrible. And somehow we changed the school. And that school was so nice to him that he profiled himself. They're helping him to become better version of him. And I said to myself, that's good. So, you know, congratulations. Thank you, Norwest High School. They're going to listen to this now. And I need to tag them, you know what I mean? So it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting change for me. I only went there for the last year and a half, maybe almost 2 years. I think I might have done 2 years of my entire school. But I did public schools the whole time, public high schools, moved around a lot, and there was, 70 kids jammed up into a room in chaos. I could get away with whatever I wanted, like, you know what I mean? Like, if I wanted to climb out the window, go onto the roof, hang out there for half an hour, I could climb back in and no one knew, you know?
Bro, like, I was going to school in Commonwealth, and we have the blue, what's it called, like, workers, what they call the doctors where they wear this white jacket?
Oh, yeah.
What are they called?
Like the lab coat type of thing.
Like lab coat, but we had the blue ones, like a workers. And we need to hold our hands behind the chair. And you don't move, bro. You know what I mean? You just don't move. That's a communism, right? And then I see my son, they go in school, bro, look, bag, it's flying. It's like, Mike, you know, like, of course it doesn't last long. You know, I mean, the school loves this. I need a new tab, new uniform. It's like, how did it show these things? It's just like, moment comes out of the car, kid, obviously no, everything's just gone. So that was it. So.
Well, what was the realizations you had in differences growing up in a country like that, especially in a time where, you know, even like schooling, like you're saying, it was strict order. My dad tells me very similar things when he was at school. Like, if you stood there and you didn't listen, your hand has to come out and they have to whip you, whack, real hard.
You know, like,
and then you're like, if you feel tough, you're like, didn't hurt, wait for another one. You know what I mean? They're kids, you know. I I can't imagine a society where
Bro,
we live
like
in.
teacher will slap me in front of my mom, and my mom she'll say yes,
Yeah, that's.
and then she'll slap from behind, and like you were just sitting there, and
My
I'm
dad
like,
would tell me that there was a teacher that if you were talking, he'd hold like hard balls, a bit harder than a tennis ball, and he'd just launch it at your head. Like if you were talking in class, whoosh, bang. Can you imagine a world like that today?
I can't.
I can't.
I can't, bro. Like, I think that something like this, it's not possible. This is what took me time, very long time to accept that I can't apply on my son the lifestyle I had, and I wish upon nobody that life I did have. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful because, when we were in primary school, year 8, that was the last year of the primary school, right? You have the 16 subjects already. 16 subjects. And then physical education was your last worry, you know what I mean? So everything else is on top of this. Plus in communism, we had these special subjects where we talk about self-defense of the country, make the bombs, using the Mauser carabine, shooting real munition, you know what I mean? So it was preparation for, to become a little soldier, toy soldier.
Wow.
Today, I couldn't imagine my son to hold the weapon. So please don't, just go to the gym, you know what I mean, and just enjoy your weight. So
Yeah.
But it's different, but every generation brings something new to the table. So that's my understanding.
When you came to Australia, you did tell me you noticed a big difference in the way people were. Did you think people were softer for the worse, or did you think people were softer for the better?
I think the world exists. I think that every community, society, and country exists on their own. Europe was always, to the century, battlefield, one big battlefield. Everybody was fighting everywhere. Germans, the English, the Spanish, the English, the French,
the
English.
Irish, you got the Croatian, Serbians, everyone.
It's all these Balkan wars, First World War, of course, Balkans. So we grew up in a much more different, harsher environment, right? Australia was always being considered as a not belong to this planet, like New Zealand.
Yeah.
It was a distant, utopistic type of the world for me. Everything's perfect.
Utopia.
Yeah, it is. It is. So like when I arrived here, I can't blame these people here about not being tough enough. And Australia was never in a physical war. Australia, you see, they talk about freedom of Australia, democracy, and then we need to defend this and that. How you can defend something when you never fought for it in the first place? Given democracy in Australia was given, freedom was given. So in Europe, everything was need to be fight for. America as well. Looking at Latin America, it's always coup d'etats. It's always these things. So I think the Australians, again, I say like simple terms, they don't know how lucky they are. They don't. Because multicultural society on this level, existing and working cohesively, it's a miracle.
It's crazy
It's
when you put it
miracle,
like that, bro.
You know what I mean?
It's so beautiful. I've always said, like, we live in the land of opportunity. We live in the land of opportunity so much that you have the option to do anything you want. You can be from another country, come to Australia and start a brand new business at the age of 38 and grow it to be successful.
Look at how big country it is.
You can do anything you want here. You can do nothing and still get paid.
Yeah.
If you want, you can do nothing. Stay at home all day and the government will give you money for that. Like, you can do anything you
I
want.
compare with Dubai. I have in Dubai some operations there. I go at it regularly. And people talk about Dubai. Dubai, it's beautiful city. It's amazing. It's made for you to spend money, not to earn money.
Yeah.
Because what the people forget about Emirates, all the perks of the living in the Emirates, doesn't matter Abu Dhabi, Dubai, there's the 7 kingdoms. It's made for the people who are born there. You get nothing. You're just working there. But in Australia, you have everything and anything you can ask for it. Again, I'll give an example, right? Yesterday I need to go to my GP urgently pick up something for my son. Anyway, I went there. He says to me to book the time online, right? I mean, can just put you there, right? I mean, it's okay. You book the time. I can't book to my doctor. Book somebody else. In like a half an hour, I was there. try in Croatia. I have my friends there, my colleagues who are being forcefully retired from military at age 35, 36. They lost the papers, they become different. They need to go to doctor, they need to wait for the MRI for 6 months. Minimum. And when they come on attempt to do MRI, they're already too late. So can you imagine this? And then here complain, oh, I need to go to the GP, but I need to wait half an hour. Bro, where you coming from again? Tell me somewhere in the world where, look at America, like, people talk about America.
No healthcare, nothing.
Bro, like, you
People
could
just
die of it, exactly.
People just die.
You know what I mean? And that's like, oh, it's opportunity. No, it's not opportunity. Here it is.
Yeah.
And you complaining about some things here, man? Shit, bro, man.
Yeah, it's just a privilege. It's such a privilege. Like there's to me, there's nothing to complain about. Like I'm just so grateful for it. The more multicultural it gets, I swear, the more interesting it gets too. Like honestly,
look, like you go in gym, right? You go in gym.
Yeah, of course. I love
okay, tell me about gym. How your gym is? Everybody Caucasian like you and I?
Gym. I don't know. Maybe I've seen a couple of white people there. Maybe
white people. Yeah, people stuff like that. I mean, like,
yeah.
So, like, how do you feel? Do you feel good?
I don't notice it. Like I don't until someone asks or I have a realization. I'm like, oh yeah, that's crazy,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fantastic. Of course, I understand why a lot of people do complain about some of the things that happen in Australia. I do understand that, like, I think we are still stuck in a narrative of we can do what came before us. We are able to copy the generations beforehand when it comes to using our yearly salary. If you save really hard to get a house, and then you can start your family in your house and all this jazz, right? Like I was speaking to a gentleman last night. I was at Potts Point in the city, and this old man, when I were having a chat, and he told me in 1979 the penthouse floor, top and bottom, was $4,000 of this apartment building for the penthouse, the biggest one.
Yeah.
Now top floor's $32 million. Right, and he was telling me, he's like, you just decided, I might get a house, and if you got bored, get an investment property, like it wasn't much of a thing. Today, people are following that narrative. That's why people are complaining about Australia, because they're trying to do what worked once. They're not trying...
Jake, I said this again from my experience. If I stayed in Croatia, but now I'll be dead for sure. I'll be dead. I will smoke 3 packets of cigarettes per day, I'm a big alcoholic, whatever, it's... Because you lose the purpose. It's somehow it's a normal, what I mean. In Croatia, where I grew up, it's by birth, it's given to you the future. So my parents were the blue collar workers, right? Working factory. My father was a welder. My mom, I don't even know today what she was doing in factory, right? But they are typical communist workers, both alcoholics, which is terrible, mate, what I mean. What do you think what my future was look like? Factory. That was my father says to me, just finish some high school, any high school, till we find you a job in the factory. And that was my life. And I said, no, I can't do this. You think today is different? No, it's not. It's a very secular society. You are born, you're given the destiny. That's it. If you're not a doctor or lawyer, or if you're not a part of the creme de la creme, that's where you are. In Australia, I succeeded to achieve dreams in language which is not mine. I will never be able to do this in Croatia, because I'll be judged, I'll be pushed against wall, and I'll be executed. No, literally, metaphorically, right? But here, as you say, everybody has opportunity.
And you're right, you are born with a destiny. You're born with a path that you're probably destined to go down based on what your parents decide to go down, but it's up to us to stop that. It's up to us to break that curse. Go on the adventure, take the risk. You setting overseas, like, oh my gosh, like
that's I'm proud of you. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is what I'm proud of you. Like, I remember our first interview a year ago where you used to believe, and you moved 30 kilometers east, closer to city. I mean, you could be comfortable living there forever, rest of your life, but you made a choice, took a risk, and you're still working on your setup and everything else. And that's what like I said to you now, conversations. I love your updates. Wherever you're walking, there's the lift didn't work or something was laughing. I said, God, man, if I need to go, if I need to climb 6 floors, I just want to shoot myself. You know what I mean? That's what I like about you. You took a risk, and most of these alpha males are still living with the mummies in a basement, never gonna move, never gonna change the postcode. For that, I congratulate you.
No, I thank you, Mario. But I promise you, like it's not in comparison to what I think a lot of. Say I've even got friends they look at their parents, they look at some of their grandparents as well, and they chose to take a massive risk of going overseas and starting a life in a new country.
Yeah.
To me, that is so mad. I think the idea of going to another country sounds hectic. I'm like, of course I love my country, I love where I am, but just the idea of that adventure sounds so decisive.
You should go back in Thailand.
I'm going. No, trust me, I holiday all the time.
No, holiday.
But move is
no. Go 2 weeks at Fitness Street. I want to see you do vlog. Seriously, I want you to see like because you belong there. You know what I mean? I can see you. You know what I mean? Honestly, I envisage you because next year I just want to just a small promotion, right? Anyway, next year I'll go in with the 2 friends of mine, Daniel Biasi, Daniel Stojevski. We're gonna do adventure. I'll not say what it is, but we've been inspired by Thailand, so we're going to Europe to do something crazy. I tell you off the record.
Yeah, please do. I'm actually scared.
But I said like, then I was thinking about you when I saw some of your videos. I said like, my God, Jay Doxie, he should go to that Fitness Street. You know, I can see him, the dyeing his hair, doing tattoos. You know what I mean? Bro, I done this, I done that. You know, because that's what you are. You know what I mean? The Fitness Street. You know, in the Phuket.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I need to tell him this one, but you know, not to move. No, don't move. Don't. It's not.
There's no point moving. No. There's no point. Holidays are fine for me. Look, Mario, one thing we've touched base on.
Yes, please.
During this episode, and I'm always interested to ask people in their experience because it's something that I've never gone down the road of yet, but I know it's going to come in my journey in the future, God willing. Is having a son, finding out the news you're going to become a dad for the first time. You know, the whole world of what that means to now stop. I heard a quote once by Jimmy Carr. He said, having a kid is like living your whole life with your heart inside your body. But then when you have a kid, you take your heart out and now your heart is outside of you. I'm excited for my day. Whenever it's time to come, it's time to come. But how did you take the news and did you have any fear, any shock, excitement? How was it finding out for the first time you're going to have a son?
You know, every time I speak about my son, I could cry because when I was in Croatia, I was married. And we find out that I can't have a kids, right? It was a shock for me, right? I mean, first of all, but take in consideration that when I was in married, she's a doctor and everything else, you know, we go to some different checks and everything balances. It turns out that war was detrimental for my health, you know, I mean, as for everybody. But when I came in Australia and met Mateo's mom, I was upfront with her and said like, look, you know, I can't have a kids. You know, I don't want to be a burden in your life because I don't want to be the man who is bringing you down. I want to be the man who brings you up. So we can date, we can have a good time, but you need to find someone. And we opted to go to do the IVF. Being somebody who been through that process once before, I couldn't handle this. Somehow, through some miracle work, Mateo's mom, her name is Teresa, she became pregnant. The moment she became pregnant, my life changed drastically, right? There's a dark side of the Mateo being born on my side of my family because those times my mom couldn't accept that it's IVF. My mom was still alive. So she called him bastard. You know what I mean? And I said, like, you and I will never talk again. We never spoke up again before she passed away. And the same church, Roman Catholic Church, Croatian, which I want to baptize my son, told me we can't baptize him because IVF. You know, it's against the Bible, you're divorced and this and that. I said, fuck, you know what I mean? Just give. But let me tell you now the beautiful side. So that's the 2 things I couldn't handle for some time. But the moment Mateo was born, when they cut him out, cesarean, bro, I smelled him. I want to snort him. And his first words was, Daddy. Daddy, I love you. Say it too much. I changed. From the moment he opened his eyes, even today, And even today, when I said to him, he's a dickhead, this and that, because I love him. I'm so in love with him. I mean, as a father, even if he's a mother's boy. He changed, every child changed your life. And I couldn't emphasize enough that the best gift I could ever get in my life is not the money, it's not only health, it's not nothing but him. Even I was going through him, with him we go, me and his mother, through many ordeals of the epilepsy, diabetes type 1, everything. But he turns out, he's a winner now. He's doing the, bodybuilding, competitions and everything else, and he's a good student. He changed a person entirely. And everything what I did in my life and still doing, everything, how good or bad it is, it's to make it his life more happier than my one. And I always said this, Matteo, you become the better man I could ever dream about. So like, one day when you become the father, you're going to be different. You're going to be crazier than now. Trust me. You'll be crazier.
And I believe it. I believe it because I know it's a big choice to go down that road realistically for me, even though I've been very excited for it. I just know that once it comes, it's not about me anymore. Like I'll keep doing me. The world will still keep seeing who I am. But I know I won't be doing it for me. I'll be doing it for my kids. So it's like a whole different, and because I'm aware of it, but I haven't experienced it, it's like I understand, like, but I don't get it at the same time,
He's become your best friend, like I said to him, you're my best friend. He says, no, I'm not, okay, But every son is a mother's son.
Yeah.
You can't fault on this. I'm just a dad.
My mum's the most important person in the whole world.
Because I know one thing from the days in the war, the last words every man will say is a mom. Ask for mom. But speaking about my son now, or your kid one day, or couple kids, I wish, I said always, if I could have more kids, I have more kids. He's one, and I said to him, my grandson is going to call Mario, and he says, what do you mean he's going to call Mario? I said, because you're going to call him Mario.
Yeah.
I'm gonna But you see, like when I see my son, I see the human being who is born in beautiful country, safe country, in environment who is there for him, and he can achieve his dreams. That's all.
That's all you could ask for.
Yeah, I could not. If he's born in Croatia with all these things, it will be a different story.
It's funny how as humans, I can imagine, not just men, I can only relate it. Excuse me. I can only relate it from the perspective of a man, but I can imagine women might feel the same feeling. We get lost, especially you've touched on the feeling a few times. Like I want to be great. I want to be. I don't want to just be stuck in a factory. I want more. I deserve more. And we go on these missions. You know what I mean? We go on these adventures, and some of them might last a week. Some of them might last a decade, realistically. And it's almost like at the end of the day, sometimes you even complete them all, and you think, what for? What am I actually doing this for? But then it's actually the real simple things. And you said, you don't care about the money, you don't care about this. The biggest gift you've ever got in the world was your son.
Yes.
It's that feeling that we all actually just want. We don't even want all the things. I think it's crazy that we're so confused as to what it is that we actually want. There's so many gurus and coaches and, what you want to call them, telling you what to do with your life and anything else. I truly believe that all answers are within us. I think that my biggest downfall was I blamed anybody for my mistakes. Even you before I met you. It's Jake's fault. Everybody's fault. Everybody. 2014, I have my biggest downfall. It was a business related. And then everything else was like slowly collapsing around me. And I said to myself, this moment, and it's so crucial for me that I need to show and prove myself that I can overcome this hurdle. And it took me 2 years' time, involved my family back in Croatia and things here. And I'm grateful that
I gave it that test because actually what prepared me for the next biggest challenge was 2019. Matteo has a brain surgery, which doctor says, look, we're going to do surgery. We don't know it's going to be cured or not. It's like, when doctor says we don't know nothing about epilepsy, but we know it's coming from the part of the brain, and maybe it's going to be blind, maybe it's going to be deaf. I'm like, fuck, man, like you know what you're going to choose. It turns out it was okay. Took it 2 years to find out results, but eventually, what I try to say, we know what we want, but we are so much overwhelmed with noise around us. And this thing,
Yeah.
like it's our best friend because of the Pornhub and all these things. Sorry.
YouTube.
YouTube. But sometimes really the hardest part is to listen to yourself. So we have the inner voice. There's Joseph Campbell is a great writer. He wrote a book, Power of Meat, in 1986. It's such an amazing book. It's an amazing book. I'm advising everybody to read, and has a dialogue with actually monologue with himself, another guy. Anyway, and all our problems and our solutions are without us, inside of us, but yet we choose to pick up the answers of somebody else. And it took me years to understand that I need to detach myself from what I'm here right now. I look things differently. I look lightly about myself. Not like world can't live without me. I'm the Mario Bekes. I'm the king. I'm the. I'm just individual, and I need to do this because tomorrow is nobody promise. That's all.
I think we have that natural part of us that wants to take other people's advice on board because we want someone to guide us and teach us and lead us, and everyone's looking for an alpha male to help push us in the right direction and look to be inspired. But I think it's because we have that part in our brain that knows we need God in our lives. I think we sometimes forget about what it is that we're trying to get advice from, and some people's perspective on God is just your
What is your perspective
calling.
on that?
My perspective is it's an equal balance between internal and external. I know God. I believe God lives within inside of me, but it's also an external thing at the same time. It's simultaneous. The closer I get to God, the more I learn about myself. It's just trying to know God is a self-development journey. That's what I'm finding it to be. And
I like it is.
In my experience.
I
I still believe. I believe in Jesus Christ. I don't know how much of it because I can't stop that part of my brain that likes to go, oh, well, this story's been passed down for this long, so how much of this part is true and how much of this is that? But I still find the truth to be inside it at the same time. It's still truth. And I think we want to follow and look at other people for their advice as a natural instinct because we're just so confused nowadays of where we're meant to be finding that same natural human instinct. I think it's God. I think it's God. That's where we should be looking.
Look, I come in trouble with God because I was an altar boy, and I never wanted to be altar boy in the first place. But again, circumstances point me in that direction. I was 8 years old. Me and a couple of buddies, we steal chocolates from the shops, and police was chasing us. And in communism, you don't have 50 cops chasing you, one or two. Everybody knows who you are. So I didn't want to be caught, so my father find out. He find out. So I ran into church, and there was a nun. She says, go inside. She closed the door from the church. It was like a small, a classroom on the side. And they're watching the movie about Jesus crucified something. I said, this is good. Anyway, there was this priest, Mate, and he's become like a father to me. He says to me, you're a troublemaker. I said, So in church, I was a different person than outside. Outside, I was fighting. I was stealing. I was terrible. I was terrible. But in church, Dominus Patris, Dominus Patris, it was beautiful. But then when the war broke out, because Croatians are Roman Catholics, the church was the biggest portion of our life, if not the biggest portion. I started questioning some things. who if they pray to God, I just give you one example. So we were sent on a mission behind the lines. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, we were there around that place, the small city. And they have the priest, the Orthodox priest, doing the Indominus Pater Spiritus on the Orthodox way. Anyway, we done what we done, big shot out, come back. And I talked to the priest, I said, I just don't understand. If we pray to God, before we left 2 days ago, you give us the holy water, the rosaries, they pray to God, who is the God side? I was reprimanded and demoted because I questioned authority. And then later on in university, I learned Friedrich Nietzsche. He said, God is dead, we killed the God, which means that every country says God is on my side, God is this one. But what you said, it's how it should be.
I think we can't find the answers to those questions. Like, why does this thing happen to me?
You did. You just answered, right? You question yourself. That's how it is.
In the sense of, I understand why some people have, and I've met many people in my lives that say, well, if God's real, why did this person die? Why do bad things happen to good people? And I don't have the answers for that. I don't know. I don't know why bad things happen to good people. I just think it's unfortunate because that's all I know. But to me, it just doesn't take away the truth of what it is. I just still see evidence to God being real.
Can I share a story with you? I had a friend of mine. She's from Germany. I didn't saw her for 2 years. She comes to Australia. Her family lives, in Australia as well. So we're good, close friends. And we catch up and I say, where have you been? What's happened to you? It's what's happened to you? She's a flat, right? She I had breast cancer. Long story short, she says one day I wake up and, went to doctor. Doctor says to me 6 months, boom. I said, wow, but you're still here, right? That was 3 years ago. She says and then, doctor says to me, we're going to do a surgery, remove them. We'll see what's going to happen. She said, but after all this, I need to see psychologist. I said, a psychologist, because that's a normal process. Everybody phase you out. It's not my problem, not my problem, my problem, my problem, right? Psychologist prepares you that you need to accept the death, right? And the psychologist says, you're not upset. And she says, what would be upset? I'm going to celebrate my life till now. That's it, And then the psychologist says this, the most upset people who find out have the cancer are the same people who are spending good portion of their life or their day in church.
I can imagine.
Because they believing if I pray every day to God, I'm going to be spared. Nobody can be spared. We all need to accept that life is equal to death, but our life, it's equal, you're living. I need to accept the living. I saw enough death in my life. I don't want to see the death in my life. But the thing is, you need to live day by day and question yourself, your actions. So answer yourself. The first book ever printed, you know which one it is?
The Bible, probably.
Bible.
Yeah.
Brother Gutenberg. Bible. There's a reason why it's printed. But I'm always cautioned when the people come to me preaching about God, this and that.
Well, I get it. To be honest, the most upset people will be the ones devoting the most time to church because they're asking. It's not about being grateful. That's what the whole practice of, I believe, faith is. It's about being appreciative for what you have and being okay, as I said earlier, if it wasn't mine to begin with, I shouldn't be upset when I lose it,
Yeah.
It's not about making sure you don't lose it. It's just being grateful you had it in the first place. Just like everything is. Just like finding a partner, just like getting a job, getting a gift, anything. It's not about, I want more. It's just about being I've got it. I've had it. I've tasted it.
It's called gratitude, what you shared now.
Gratitude. That's the whole practice. It should be gratitude. I don't go to church because I'm trying to make sure I get into heaven. That's why I like Christianity. It seems to be the best one because you can't even earn your way there. I don't have to do shit. A lot of these religions, I feel like you have to do things. I
believe there is something there out. I don't know what it is. I question, particularly during the winter, during the war, when it's a cold nights, 2 o'clock in the morning on a guard duty, far, man, 20 degrees below, just want to die, don't want to live anymore. And then you say, God, give me some sign. And you forget, and then we forget to watch the signs.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
That's what I think the answers are there.
Answers are always there. I have a theory, to be honest, and didn't even work this out through faith. Like I've only been on a new journey of trying to work that out. I learned this doing my apprenticeship. I realized my answer is always in front of me. It doesn't matter what the breakdown is. If I was my first day in my trade or if I'm 10 years in my trade, like whatever I come to a problem with, the answer is somewhere I can get to. And now that we have phones, it makes everything easier. But I've got a theory that the answer to everything is right in front of us at all times. I really believe that.
My father had an expression, which I carry today. It's going to apply to you, even you're not a woman. But my father always says to me, the woman you can buy, it's not worth it. Same if you can buy the person with anything or whatever exists, it's not worth it. You see, you are displaying consistently, which amazes me, your own opinion. So you question everything, which is a good thing. Makes sense?
Of
so
course.
with my son, I love to push him sometimes on the age, and he's like become like, it's like, what? And then I said to myself, oh my God, it's good. He doesn't see me because I know he's going to watch this, but I know he fights for his right. You know what I mean? Like, I just want you to question me, Mike. You know what I mean? Don't accept the black and white. If everybody says, let's go jump on this balcony, you go. I'll take the stairs. Don't you jump. You know what I mean? Because I think when you ask yourself a question, is this good for me? Is this going to be worth it or something? It's already half of the answers. But if you just follow up, and that's like you and I know, I'm going on the internet and I'm seeing a lot of people. I'll give example, Liver King. You know Liver King?
Of course.
I mean,
Liver is king.
Liver is king. He's gone. Everything was based on lie. The Rock Johnson, you know him?
Yeah.
He's gone again. He's as well. Everything what they done was a lie. You won't follow this? No, follow the Doxie guys. Subscribe. I'm seriously saying this because you're consistent. You're delivering podcast. You're there. You're working. You're not bullshitting people. And that's what I appreciate in seeing in people like yourself. They're doing the things. And that's the recipe for success. Not the fucking bullshit. Oh, I wish, I want. Oh,
What could have been.
I'm just going to close. You know, there's a secret. There's a meeting this weekend. Oh. I went a few weeks ago for some 3-day course. It was for free. And the guy was mumbo-jumboing about NLP. 3 days. In 3 days, we tried to upsell, and upsell. And eventually I said to him, how do you know there's going to happen this to me? He said, I don't understand question. See, he told me I'm going to become rich. How do you know? He couldn't answer. I said to him, who are you, bro? It's bullshitting. People paying his money for your crap. But
I've been to those seminars. Trust me, I've been to some. They're insane. Some people will like give this big speech, and at the end, it's like, you can do what I do. $25,000 today only. I've watched people run to the thing. Like, I've watched people fight for their spot to give this guy $25,000 to make sure they can get into his position. But it's like, I tell them, I'm thinking, if I buy this right now, I still have to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just, why don't I just do it and not give you the $25,000?
give it to us, you know, here. We're going to invest here. Like, this is what I said to a believer king, you know, like when I saw him first time, I said to him, only in America you can sell that bullshit that the guy eats the raw liver, which is cleansing your blood, full of toxins and anything else. You eating raw. My mom, she used to be making the pig's liver. We blessed, you know. Liver on oh my God, it's a meat, you know what I mean, treat, you know what I mean, with the what's it called, the garlic and oh my God, and some mashed potato. Our ancestors couldn't wait to discover the fire, not to eat raw.
Yeah.
And then you bullshitting. And then I saw him, he's chasing some animal on his farm and killing with a knife. I said, bro.
It was insane. But it came out. There's a documentary on the Liver King on Netflix.
And now I think Hammer's going to come out.
It did. There's already a Netflix documentary. He's been open and honest about the fact that it was all just for show. Like, it was just for show. At the end of the video, he's eating fruit at the end of the documentary. You know? And the whole thing was wild. Before we get towards, there's a couple more things I want to touch base with you, Mario. You mentioned this to me off camera and in the car park downstairs. You mentioned that March, there's a very exciting thing coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to have the first fight in 2026. So I'm going to fight again. So
and you'll be 55?
54.
54.
54
in
next
March,
year.
you'll be 54.
Yeah, 54.
That's not something that most people do at 54, Mario.
Yeah, look,
Why?
keeps me alive. Keeps me alive. I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Liz Isnering. She's a professor. She's a real doctor, and she's a professor. And she says to me, the most of her patients she's seeing are the people in 20s and 30s with a handful of the full of pills and six-pack. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So why I'm doing this is to prove myself that I can do it. And I learned one thing in the army, particularly the training after the war, sweat saves blood. And if I prove myself that I can compete, because I'm 53, I can't be Rocky anymore. Rocky can be Rocky. But first thing, you are trained, proving yourself you can train. Little bit slow motions, but it's okay. Secondly, you do the medical. So doctor says tick, 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 tick. And thirdly, I'm fighting all my fears because I'm not immune on the punches. I'm not nobody punching bag. But I'm facing my biggest demons before the fight. The moment I walk into that ring, I know I've done the best. Nobody can hold my hand except I can hit the Rodney Williams, my coach, on the side. That's what I'm doing. And I want to as well show other people 40 plus that if I can do it, bro, you can do it as well.
Are you having fun? Are you having fun?
Oh man, I love the still ring girls as well. So.
Yeah,
they don't see me, but
that's why you're doing it. That's why you're doing it.
So yeah, like it's a fun as well. It's a fun and like look, you see my socials and everything else. I got a lot of concerned citizens. You're too old for this and that. I said, don't tell me what I am. Look at yourself. I do this because I can. My doctor, Dr. Vin is like, oh God, it's called the Blue Book, need to sign. It's a government book. He says, Mario, please, let's go make it next year. And I said, like, and then he's laughing to me, says to me, look, there's no reason for me to stop you. You don't fighting somebody who is 20 years old. You fight somebody your age. So it's okay. But he says, like, I don't know. It's the way you find the energy. So that's it.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun. Like, honestly, I just...
And I'm hoping you're going to come for my match because, like...
I will be there.
I made a mission. I want a belt. I want to be like Rocky Balboa. Right?
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, I did something, for me. So I can, of course, so my belt, in Porsche. So funny. It's fun.
I can imagine exactly where it's going to be set up.
You're going to be there.
In the studio. I know exactly where it's going to be set up too.
So yeah.
Your studio is amazing, Mario. I think you've hosted a space there for people like myself, and I've watched lots of episodes. A lot of people I know have even come and done episodes on your channel as well, and it's unlike any other studio I've ever been to. It's built the way that I can imagine your mind is. It's ordered. It's structured. it's got its bright colors. Trust me, there's beautiful colors everywhere, but it's also like military. You know what I mean? Like I can see a lot of you in the space you've built. I remember we had a chat off camera after the episode, and I felt like I was in an interrogation room. It was like PI. Like it was.
I'm looking for the fake polygraphy test. You know what I mean? I'm looking for the machine, but I can't find it.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, I had the idea. Actually, you inspired with your things. So I told the Jay City, my producer, said to him, what we should do, like for the one of the interviews? So we should kidnap somebody straight, fake. You know what I mean? And put in a van and bring them in studio. He says, "Oh my God, that'll be good." I said, I can't bother, when we have the more people in studio. But look, the studio, I want to say something to you, you're my second podcast this year. I'm not invited to nobody podcast. I don't know why, I don't care anymore, but I was earlier this year in Queensland on a very strong podcast, being invited, Broken Fathers podcast, Jared Purcell, amazing guy. But one thing about podcasting was that it was started as necessity because I want to promote myself, my business, more infidelity cases and everything else. And of course, you and I agree about there's a lot of scam over there. So that was it. And podcasting, it is truly fun and good, the venue. And as I said, like, why I'm admiring you. How many episodes you did?
We are filming episode 167 right now.
Statistically speaking, between fifth and seventh episode, podcasting dies.
Well, you can see why. Hey, you've done it. You understand. Like you understand why people do.
Yeah. But it's like I don't have a crystal ball, but I'll make a prophecy that Jake Doxie will become soon the beacon for the many young people. I guarantee you this one. Just push it, bro. Just push it.
I'm going to. And to be honest, a lot of it just comes down to the fact that it's like I know I can do more, so let's just start doing more. That's as simple as that. Like it's fun. Let's keep having fun.
Never forget one thing. Maybe you don't get the comments. I'm getting a lot of. For some reason, my podcast is more by women. 61%. I don't know why.
Wow, that's good statistics.
Yeah, but then
I think I'm on 7%.
I can't understand why. You know what I mean? Seriously, let's just say. But the one thing I do notice that I had a quite number of the truckies between Melbourne and Sydney. They're leaving messages privately. He said, "Bro, I just tuned your interviews, and I'm listening to them." So like, there's no subscribers. There's more people who are not subscribed listening to you. They find you. So keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It's just the funnest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing better than being able to use an excuse to try and get someone like yourself over. You know, we became friends through doing this. So I couldn't recommend anyone else anymore that if they have that interest to just like.
No, I appreciate mate. We appreciate the job.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I have one final question that I want to ask you before we wrap it up. And I've asked you this question before. I'm sure your answer might have changed over time. Like everyone's answer is always evolving. So my question to you before we wrap this up is, if someone came to you for a bit of advice, mostly because they were depressed, just felt a bit lost, is there any advice you would give that person?
That shall pass. Look, nobody can solve. My view on life is this. Nobody can solve my problems except me. End of the story. If you expect somebody else gonna have the magic wand or go do something for you, it will not. So whatever you do, push through it. You're gonna come on the other side. That's my advice to everybody. It's painful, it's hard, it's difficult. I know, been there, I done that. The life I had on me, it's still there. So whatever is there for you, it's coming either as a lesson or as a reward. So go through it. Just push it.
It's inevitable, isn't it? You're going to get through it.
I love that word. Say again.
Inevitable.
I can't pronounce
it's actually one of my favorite
inevitable.
words.
Inevitable.
You said it good.
It's inevitable. Like if my students here is going to say, "Oh, dude," you're like, so yeah, that's the word. It's inevitable. Yeah. It's good.
It's been amazing. Mara, it's always good catching up with you. It always is. There's many things I want to continue to catch up and do with you in the future, whether it be content related or not.
We will, yeah.
I'm definitely excited. March does seem like a long way away, but I know that's going to come very, very close. It's going to come quick.
It's coming close. You know, look, if
you have a schedule, you try and train a certain amount of times.
Yeah, Monday and Fridays are doing with my coach.
Every day, Monday to Friday.
Monday, Friday. No, Monday
and Friday.
Monday, Friday, yeah. Meantime, I'm going every day 4 o'clock in the morning in my gym because I was like 3 years ago I stopped smoking. Because my son told me, "Dad, I think it's time to stop." And I didn't feel very well. You know what I mean? I enjoyed the smoking. I did no promotion. For 30 years I did. Then I stopped and he says to me, so what I was teaching him now, he's pushing me. He's become my engine. So we go 4 o'clock in the morning in gym. I love this because all tradies are there. You know what I mean? They're all massive guys. And, hey, bro, where are you? So I'm the old senior citizen. And I mean, and I enjoy workout with them. And World Gym Rouse Hill, big shout out them. And then Monday and Friday from 2 to 4 p.m. And that's the hardest part because it's hard, man. You just want to go home, sleep.
I know.
Friday afternoon.
I did boxing for so many years. Like it's hard. It's fun. Like it's so fun. Yeah. But you just every day you're like, come on. Maybe one every 8 sessions you're like, let's keep going. But most of the time it's like, why did I do this? You know what I mean?
Because it's like last night, Rodney was my coach. Rodney has some device for the releasing the muscles here. Then he has this machine. I said, like, what are you doing, He says to me, Mario, you're 53 years old. Everything's hurting me. You're stiff, you know. So yeah, Monday, Friday, yes.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited.
Thank you.
It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. But it's not like we won't see each other till then. Obviously, I want to stay in contact as much as possible. If we can get something in before Christmas, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, of course.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we'll do.
I couldn't thank you enough for coming and blessing the channel, not just once, but a second time. Because like the first episode we have I filmed together, It's always been one of my favorite episodes of all
Yes.
time. In 167 episodes, that's up
Speaks the
there.
volume about you.
And speaks volume about you.
I'm calling every sponsor, guys, come. This is consistency. See, consistency is a key element for success. You are there. And that's what the client like to see. You are there. What's the word? Hell or shallow, rain. What's the
Oh, rain, hail, or shine.
rain, hell, or that one. Yeah,
I thought you were trying to say a hell of shala. I was like, what's this word?
you were there, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like, I don't know, just I love to you say it because
Yeah.
it sounds better. So guys, contact the Jack. That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
Feel free. Well, for everyone listening, thank you for making it to the end of the episode. It was amazing week this week. We'll have one next week. That's all right.
Jake Doxie, subscribe. Thank you.
Yeah, we heading for the sun. Shawty got my heart, I ain't tripping for the funds. Yeah, I won't start, I ain't tripping, I'm a stunt.